Reek Sheikh.
Finally back after a long absence.
Long.
I blame you for that absence.
Why do you blame me?
I just do. I just like to, project my problems on other people.
I'll take the blame. As Icon said, you could put the blame on me. You know that song?
No, actually, no.
Why you laugh, bro? If you don't know the song.
Because the verse sounds familiar, but the
The whole song is that. It's, you could
Yeah.
put the blame on me. You could put the blame on me. It's a good
Akon.
song. Yeah.
Back in the day when Akon used to be one of our top artists. Before we realized that there were better artists.
Then he went to the Middle East and cashed out. We started seeing him on Arab songs.
I mean, smart. Anyways, so today we had a very nice morning.
Very nice. Well, semi-nice.
I mean, it started with a decent game in the Clasico, but then we got to watch the best game of the year so far, in our humble opinion.
Shitty game for Barcelona, if you're a Barcelona fan. As
Indeed.
Man City Liverpool game, the best game I've seen all year for soccer. Yeah, we were talking about this. If Liverpool play like this, they will be real contenders for the Champions League. I think the league's gone. They can't compete for the league, but Champions League for sure.
The Champions League, but they could influence the league for sure. I mean, they still have big games coming up like Spurs and Chelsea. They already lost to Arsenal, so Arsenal fans are happy that they lost to Arsenal and beat Man City. But Chelsea is still on the schedule. So is Tottenham. That's gonna shape up top four probably. Those games are important for Liverpool, so they could contend for top four because they're kind of far from it right now. But they did show that they can be that Liverpool team that's lethal, that is basically world beaters. Like, to be honest, when Liverpool is pumping on all cylinders, they're one of the best teams in the world. And that showed today against Haaland. They contained Haaland pretty well. And Salah remembered that he was a legend for the club. By the way, that Alisson Salah that Alisson Salah link is elite. By far, one of my favorite random things that you pull out of a hat for that team.
Closest thing to Tom Brady and Randy Moss.
Better because it's with their feet. It's just more. It's more difficult. Let's say that.
Really, with their feet? I haven't noticed.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, soccer is played with the feet, bro.
I see.
Yeah. But elite game. It was an elite game. There was a lot of good moments in the game.
Yeah, no, it was a really good game. Also, the fact that it was played in Anfield, I think, made it even better. Because once Liverpool scored that goal, I couldn't see Man City coming back after the atmosphere. I got lit up basically.
The thing is, I feared that they would come back if the goal was scored earlier. Remember last year when they scored in the 50-something minute? Man City still had time. They came back. Of course, it was a better Man City. It was a better Liverpool side, and the teams were closer together, or they're closer to each other in terms of skill level.
Mm-hmm.
But because the goal was late, it was in like the 70-something minute. It was far from Man City. Like, it was a reach for them to come back because all Liverpool did was park the bus. Plus, Liverpool defensively played really well today because they played in a weird formation. It plays like 4-4-2, and then when they go on the attack, they would switch it to 4-3-3. So it was an interesting tactic by Klopp.
It was the best game I've seen. It was like a ping pong game in soccer. It was just back and forth all game. And that's what you want to see as a neutral fan, which I consider myself a neutral fan watching these two teams. Is you want to see a great game. You want to see attacking back and forth. You want to see some good defending. You want to see some elite individual matchups, which we saw. Van Dijk, Haaland, Gomez, Haaland. Gomez had a great game today. Salah, I think one of his best performances. Like, forget statistics like goals. He only scored a goal. He didn't have any assists, but individually, movement on the field, one-on-one battles, just being a general threat to Man City's defense. Salah was the man today.
Yeah, he was definitely the most dangerous player for Liverpool. He was moving. This is what they wanted Salah to be. when they signed the contract and they got rid of Mane
Mm-hmm.
because they thought he would influence the team in a positive sense in terms of like facilitating the attack starting with him and all that. But I think I think there needs to be more. So, see, okay. So when you play with Salah as the pinnacle, he's the number one player on Liverpool. You see players love to play with him, especially like Jota, Firmino. I think they've been struggling with the people that have been struggling with him are like Nunes and Diaz because Nunes, I don't want to say selfish. I could say for sure Diaz is selfish, but Nunes is a weird guy. I think because he's a striker, he's looking to score first. Like you saw that chance that could have put the game away. You square that ball immediately.
Nunez at the moment might be the most hated player in Liverpool. He's definitely the most hated player for me personally because I get people make mistakes, but as a professional footballer, you see your best player on the field, Mo Salah, running freely on the right hand side, freely, and you know you need a goal to kill the game. It's the end of the game, and you have all the time in the world to make that pass and assess the situation, and you still go for it yourself. To me, even if he got the goal, I'm still disappointed in Nunez because there's something to be said about making the right play.
Especially when the teams are neck and neck. The whole game has been physical. It's been intense. They're going back and forth. Like the chances you get, you want to put them away. You need to end the game as soon as you can. And that game would have put the nail in the coffin for City.
Yeah.
But the
And
fact
he
of the
did
matter
it
is,
again. Did it again with Carvalho.
true. So like you shouldn't allow Man City to come back in that game. And Nunes, you kind of like if the team, let's say Man City came back and they tied the game, blame would go on Nunes 100%. He's lucky that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, he has a lot of work to do if he wants to start for this Liverpool team. Because if I'm Klopp and I'm watching those last 10 minutes he played, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, true. And he said it in the post-match interview. He said that it could have been 3-0, 2-0, 3-0. And the reason it could have been 2-0, 3-0 is because those passes needed to be squared. One to Salah, one to Carvalho.
Who said that, Klopp?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I
It was obvious. Like, it didn't even need any analysis. It was just obvious watching the game.
So I'm wondering to see if the team comes back strong and they start to play better and they start to play well with Firmino, Salah, and Jota. I don't know. Jota looks injured, so it's going to be difficult to bring. I don't think he's going to play the next game for sure, but we're wondering to see how severe that injury is. If that injury is as bad as it looked, then they're going to be stuck with Firmino, Salah, and Nunez, and that's not going to be a fun time for Liverpool if Nunes continues to play like this.
I wouldn't start Nunez, even if he's the only available attacker to make the front three. I'd rather put a midfielder. I'd rather put Trent Alexander-Arnold as a right wing, move Salah to a number 9, and put Gomez as a right back, than have to fit Nunez in the front three.
Yeah, he needs to. Well, I think you don't even need to do that. I think you should put like a midfielder and Carvalho or Elliott and just play 4-4-2 like you did.
Yeah,
because that 4-4-2 formation is actually more consistent for the team or the team's identity right now. Because the team's identity is looking shaky. They're not Liverpool from last year, but they showed you that they can be. So it's interesting to see how he forms. He puts what formation he's going to use.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Now the interesting part is if Diaz comes back, of course, after the World Cup, because I don't think he's going to play until the World Cup. If he does come back, I think he needs to be less selfish, him and Nunes, because there's no link-up play with Diaz. That's the problem. Because like you see with Jota, there's more flow. Or with Firmino, there's more flow.
At least Diaz can give you something individual. Yeah, he's selfish. He's still selfish, I agree. But at least when he does it on his own, he more often than not brings you results. Like he can score nice solo goals outside the box. He can win his matchup against his defender. Nunez right now is just none of the above. Like I haven't seen him on an individual level destroy defenses, and I haven't seen him link up with his teammates.
Yeah, I agree. And you saw today Salah playing in the middle. He's the most dangerous he's been all year long.
Yeah.
This is his best game of the season. So it's I don't think Klopp should put him on the right. I think he should play him a bit more central to get him involved in these plays and make him more
That,
dangerous.
yeah, that's why in the example I gave you, I would put Salah as number 9. And even if you don't want to put a midfielder like Elliott or someone, you could put Alexander Arnold on the right.
Mhm.
Just transition him into a winger.
We talk a lot of shit about Milner, but Milner has found a second lung today, guarding Foden.
We're still looking for Foden. He's missing in Milner's spot.
Milner played a really good game today. He's like that English style of play, that physicality, that sliding tackle, and also he was more composed than I thought he would.
Yeah.
So
You
it
can
was
see
a
it
well.
he had those wild eyes today. Even
Yeah. Yeah, he was Milner from Newcastle. He wasn't Milner from Liverpool today.
exactly.
Yeah. Fun game. Also, Bernardo Silva, bro, relax. Like I need you to calm down.
Bernardo Silva's feeling himself. I think he needs Luka Doncic to talk to him because everyone's tough when they're up, right? Everyone's tough. Even though in this scenario you're tough when you're down. So I think
Yeah.
Silva, the phrase got lost in translation because he's trying to step to Salah, and Salah's a very nice guy. We know Salah. We've been following his career up until this point. We know he doesn't start beefs for no reason.
Yeah.
No, if he wanted to, my boy's Egyptian, so he got them hands.
You got the Saidi mindset, bro. You better watch out.
He got them hands. All right. You might have Haaland, we got Van Dyke. So like, bring it. You drinking Prime?
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly good. It's surprisingly really good. For 20 calories, I mean, this is like a free commercial for, I mean, not really a commercial. Like, it's not like most people.
No, it is. Book it, clip it. We're sending it to the
Oh, it's actually pretty good. It tastes really good. Like, it's one of the best things in the energy drink world. Or it's not even that. It's 2 grams. No, it's 2 grams. Yeah, 2 grams.
Not bad. How many calories overall?
20.
There you go. Impulsive. We love advertisements here at Reek Sheikh.
No, but like forget advertisement. Like as a product, it tastes good. So, and it doesn't have a lot of calories, so it's actually very very nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
Anyways, moving a little bit to Spain. Disappointing for Barcelona. 2 mistakes in a row with Xavi. Are you willing to concede Busquets needs to stay in the retirement home?
Yeah, I won't die on this hill. I'll concede that Busquets is old, and it's time for him to transition off the team, along with Piqué, along with Elba, along with Roberto. Other than Busquets, I think the team is having an identity crisis. I don't know what Barcelona plays. Do they play possession? Do they play counterattack? Do they just go all out attack with the press? I don't know what they play.
You know, the thing is, I don't even think you know what your starting 11 is, especially like at least your starting front 3, because you're consistently trying to shove Rafinha.
Yeah,
but
he
Rafinha
hasn't lived up to the bill.
Yeah, and you have Ansu Fati on the bench. Like Ansu Fati, say what you want about Ansu Fati, but the same way you like to play Gavi, because Gavi gives you that hunger, is the same reason I would play Ansu Fati, because they're hungry.
Yeah, besides hunger, on a talent level, Ansu Fati is the most talented player on that team, including Lewandowski.
Lewandowski, man. Lewandowski, you need to show up in these big games, man. You need to show up in these big games. Like, I don't understand. The thing is, like, I don't want to blame him that much because at the end of the day, Lewandowski is a player that needs the team to play for him and play to him. But the thing is, I don't know, man. It goes back to this. Like, Xavi, you're not picking your team right. Like, what is your starting? What are your midfielders? Your midfielders aren't supposed to be Busquets, De Jong, Pedri before the match, and you've been consistently playing Gavi, Pedri, and De Jong. Or sorry, Busquets. Like, also your front 3, like Rafinha, you're shoving Rafinha down our throat. You're shoving Dembele. Dembele has 1 good game and 3 bad ones. Like, the team isn't stable, contrary to what you think.
I agree. Barcelona is not looking good. I think they look like imposers right now. They feed off these mid-level to low-level league teams. They got their butt handed to them against Inter Milan in the Champions League twice. And in here today against Real Madrid, they got exposed.
And there was this feeling. I think we were talking about this before. Whenever Barcelona was defending, whenever Madrid were on the counter, it always looked dangerous. It always just seemed like they were going to score, and that just shows you how, like, the lack of confidence you have in that defense, especially specifically in Eric Garcia.
Yeah.
I don't, and of course, like, Sergio Brito on the right isn't quite what you expect from that team.
Yeah, no, Barcelona has a lot of problems. I'm gonna give Xavi the benefit of the doubt and see what happens here into the World Cup. But if by mid-season, like when they come back from the World Cup, Barcelona is still performing like this, I'd have a real look at Tuchel.
That was actually one of my questions. Do you think they should let go of Xavi and play Tuchel?
If it continues on this road, I'll give him a little bit more leeway after the World Cup. But if it continues,
the thing is with Barcelona specifically is Barcelona don't just pick any coach. They have to play a certain way. They have to play a certain style. They have to be consistent with the game plan of Barcelona. So I don't think Tuchel would ever fit into their plans.
Well, then Barcelona are accustomed to losing then, and they've just identified themselves as losers. You either revolutionize with the game, or you get left behind. You need a coach who's going to bring an identity. Who are you as Barcelona? What do you need to do to win for results? Real Madrid didn't look flashy today, but they won the game 3-1.
Also, one more thing to point out: people want to get caught up in the defensive injuries. I don't think it's quite that simple. I think even if they had their defensive players like Araujo Araujo would have been a better match against Vinicius. I agree, but Vinicius wasn't that dangerous today either. Like the threat came from elsewhere. Like Valverde was a threat.
You're going to like if you're Barcelona, you're going up against a top level team, regardless of who that team is. You're gonna concede. That's normal. But offensively, you have nothing to show. Like, you're not that much of a threat. Rafinha is, we already said, disappointing so far. Dembele is a good threat, but he needs to be playing on the right side more consistently. I think that's where he's more dangerous.
Yeah.
On the midfield, I love Pedri and Gavi, but I mean sometimes they need to be more direct. Like it's too much side to side going on with these two. Busquets, I lost that battle. He's old. He needs to go and join another team, do whatever he has to do. Maybe go to the MLS. Have the young start in his spot.
I'm going to remind you of one thing. What did Guardiola come in the first order of business when Guardiola took the reins at Barcelona? He did one thing.
Ronaldinho?
Well, he did one thing in general. He got rid of the old players. He got rid of Ronaldinho. He got rid of Deco. He got rid of. He wanted to get rid of Ito immediately, but he stayed another year. He got rid of Silvinho, and all these players that, in his mind, these are going to be headaches if they stay on the team. Why? Because an ego like Ronaldinho, or an ego like Deco, or an ego like Silvinho, he was the captain at the time, or one of the captains at the time. You're not gonna influence the team if you're gonna have a split in the locker room, and those players, because of their big egos, they're gonna cause a split in the locker room. The thing with Busquets is you've consistently been playing poorly for what, 2 years now, 3 years now. I think it was like 3 years ago where he stopped being that effective. Even though you see flashes of the old Busquets, but you don't consistently get that. And right now, the team is young and hungry, so you need to change that mindset. You can't consistently rely on the Busquets and the Piqués of the world. That has to stop.
Yeah, agreed. So, transitioning into the NFL, we have a big game tonight.
We have two big games tonight. We have the Chiefs and Bills that the media does not want to. Apparently, they forgot about it. Not like it was the best game in the playoffs last year, or the best game of all time in the playoffs.
I don't blame them because of course, the other game is the Eagles versus the Cowboys. The only reason I can see why the Eagles and Cowboys is getting more hype, besides the fact that
It's the
whenever a
Cowboys.
Cowboys is successful, they get hype,
Yeah.
it's a big game. They're both almost undefeated, but they're also division rivals. So it's like, let's put it into perspective. If the Cowboys beat the Eagles today, not only do they have the same record and they beat the only undefeated team in the NFL, they've also took the top of the division in one game. So all the hype we've been giving the Philadelphia Eagles for 5 weeks flips just like that.
Don't forget the Giants looking like are going to be 5-1 today. If the Giants are 5-1, then that and the Eagles are 5-1, so are the Cowboys. That's going to be a tough division to look at because they're one of the best in the league.
Changes everything. This one game could change everything. Either
And-
the Eagles are the real deal, they stay undefeated, and the Cowboys fall down the tier, or the Cowboys win. We have a 3-way tie, and the Cowboys are at the top of the division.
This is a funny year. Last year, the Giants, not the Giants, the NFC East in general was just a trash division. Just one of the worst for 5 years almost.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now, like they're the best division. They're the most, the best teams are in it. They're the most aggressive. The defense is great on both, and all three of these teams. Defense is great. The Eagles developed an offensive line out of the blue. Like this is a really good division.
Had an offensive line. I think what it is Jalen Hurts is playing.
No, but it's different now because like the offensive line wasn't as good as this last year.
No, it was. That's the reason we got to the playoffs. It's because our run game. It's because we had a great offensive line. What happened is, to be honest, as an Eagles fan, for Reek Sheikh listeners out there, I mean.
But last year they didn't make the playoffs last year, did they?
Yeah, we lost to the Buccaneers in game 1.
Oh yeah, so I forgot about that. I forgot the 7th team. I always forget the 7th team
Yeah.
because it's so significant.
Disrespect on our name. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, this offseason. So this offseason, as an Eagles fan, before a game was played in the season, I knew we were gonna be good. I didn't think we'd be undefeated to this point, but I knew we were gonna be good because I had the same feeling this offseason that I did that year we won the Super Bowl a few years ago. I just love the signings that we made. Underrated, nothing flashy, but all very good underrated signings. Like we had Darius Slade, then we signed Bradbury on the other side from the Giants, their number 1 corner. So now you have 2 corners that can book in. We get Hassan Reddick. Not a flashy name, but he's top 10 in the pass rush for the past 3 years in the NFL. We sign Johnson Gardner from the Saints for the safety position. Not a known guy, but guess what? The Saints shut down Tom Brady twice last year, and he was a main point.
Mhm.
Linebacking core, we signed Kaiser White from the Chargers. Great coverage linebacker. Something we were missing for years. On the offense, we get A.J. Brown. Now that brings another element, another dimension to the offense. Jalen Hurts has a big body to throw to on those third and medium downs.
Okay, this is where Jalen Hurts, starts to get compared to Dak a little. Is the minute you gave Dak a receiver, he became competent. Like at the time, remember when he was bad, and then you added Amari Cooper, and all of a sudden the team looked better, right? This is the test with Jalen Hurts. The minute you gave him a receiver, he looks, I don't want to say top 10 quarterback, but he's up there. He's definitely top 15. Right?
Now he's in the MVP race.
I don't think he's in the MVP race in that sense, but he's definitely
in the MVP race. Because they're just at the moment. Forget what's gonna happen, but from now until the end of the season. At the moment, they're 5-0. He's top 5 in throwing yards, and he's top 5 in touchdowns overall because he has like 8 rushing, 2 throwing. So he's definitely been performing so far at an MVP level. I don't think that's his real level. I think he's more mid-level QB in the NFL. Top 15, top 20, let's say.
I don't think top 20. I think top 15. Like a quarterback like him, a system quarterback. Let's just call it what it is. A system quarterback. Give him a receiver, and he shows you that he's actually adequate, or he actually can perform and can give you numbers, can give you wins in the regular season, that's more than you can ask for, because most teams don't have,
Yeah.
right? Like, I look at the Saints. What is their issue right now? We'll look at the Steelers. Their issue, no quarterback. Saints, same thing. The Bears. So adequate quarterback is something to be proud of. Somebody that can give you a win here, a win there. Like with Jalen Hurts, they're undefeated. They have a decent defense and a very good offensive line.
The team likes him. He's a good leader.
True. Also, that
he's humble. The team wants to play for him. That's number one.
Again, Dak. That's what Dak was.
Yeah, that's what Dak.
Yeah.
Number two, I think the good thing about him is he's probably the only quarterback in the league right now who's built like a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Where he could take punishment. Like anything in the 5 yards in the red zone is a touchdown for the Eagles right now.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 running backs behind center. So Dak was kind of like that. He was more running. He wasn't as physical as Jalen Hurts, but at the same time, Dak Prescott's a better thrower. So they kind of balance each other's out.
Oh, that's debatable.
Nowadays,
that's debatable for me, at least.
So what about the Cowboys? What do the Cowboys need to win this game?
I think the Cowboys, first of all, the defense is elite. I think it's one of the best defenses in the league right now, if not the best.
I agree.
Arguably an MVP candidate and Micah Parsons. But the team looks so good, like that front 7 or that front, at least the front 4 to start, and then you have that linebacking the core of Neal and Van Der Esch. Van Der Esch is a bit underrated in my opinion. Like one of my favorite players on the team. He's physical. He's smart. He knows where to get to. I think he leads them I don't think he leads them in tackles this year, but he's one of their best tacklers. He led them in tackles a few years ago. But Van Der Esch, at the end of the day, he's that player that reminds you a lot of Sean Lee. And couple that with the front 4, those guys can be elite. Trayvon Diggs isn't the best corner in my opinion, but he's opportunistic. Like he could turn a game on its head with an interception. The team that's defensively. So the team defensively is one of the best. Offensively, they don't need to be one of the best. They just need to stick to the formula. Run the ball, pass when you can pass. Don't try to come out slinging. With Cooper Rush, of course, that's not going to happen with Cooper Rush. But this is the knock on Dak. Like, remember when we were talking about Dak after that Buccaneers game? Dak could have been the single reason why they were bad. If Dak wasn't a likable quarterback, let's say if he was Carson Wentz that split the locker room, I'm telling you right now, the Dallas Cowboys are in shambles. They're not going to be as good as they are. But the fact of the matter is, the same way Jalen Hurts is likable on the Eagles, same thing with Dak in the Cowboys. They just like him as a person, right? So when he comes back, he's going to fit in, no problem. But what Dak needs to do is to keep that, let's say that spirit high. Don't try too much. Don't try too hard. Stick to the plan. Stick to the formula. Run the ball well. Because the offensive line doesn't look bad. It's not as great as it was for sure, but it's not bad also with the Cowboys. That rookie Smith is not a bad pick. Honestly, it's been a surprise for me this year.
Yeah.
So stick to the run game. Play opportunistic when you feel like there's a blitz or whatnot. Throw the ball. That's fine. Just don't start the match trying to go for 300, 400 yards, especially against the Eagles. I'm sure that's not going to happen with Cooper Rush. I'm sorry. But I do fear that that's going to happen when Dak comes back. And if they want to be one of the best teams in the NFL, they need to stick to that formula of run the ball, play great defense, and play it on the play action, on the back of that play action pass. Because you got receivers. You got CeeDee Lamb and Gallup. No problem. Just right now, I think the better formula is to run the ball with Elliott and Pollard as your 2-headed monster, because that is going to be lethal, especially.
I agree with you on the points you made, like running the ball, but I think there's 3 things to pay attention to tonight's matchup that are going to determine the outcome of the game. Number 1, what do the Eagles do with Michael Parsons? I think he's gonna get his regardless. He's just too talented of a player. But how is he gonna get it? Is he gonna be on third down? Are you gonna want him to sack you on first down? There's a major difference between the two. Are you gonna double him? Is he gonna play as a spy? So Eagles offensive line versus Michael Parsons is matchup number one I'd pay attention to, obviously. Number two, AJ Brown versus Trayvon Diggs. I think they match up very well. Two big athletes, tall, fast, strong. I think the winner of that matchup is going to determine the outcome of the game as well. Number three, Eagles defense making Cooper Rush play. So Cowboys have had tremendous success running the ball so far, but Cooper Rush has just had to be a game manager. He hasn't had to win any games. He's made some big time throws. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't have to be put in that position all game long. Key moments, yes, he's had to step up. But if I'm the Eagles defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, I'm shutting down the run, stacking the box. No running for anyone. You're gonna beat us one-on-one matchups across the field. Go ahead, Cooper Rush, beat us.
Okay. Yes, 100%. But with Micah Parsons, I don't think Micah Parsons is your only problem. Don't forget, DeMarcus Lawrence is on there. Armstrong has been very good this year. So you're going to stop Micah Parsons, but you got three other guys that are just as hungry, just not as good, but just as capable of getting to the quarterback. With the Diggs, AJ Brown matchup, I do think AJ Brown has the upside on Diggs. I think AJ Brown is going to be a better threat. I think Diggs is going to struggle against him a little. But you are right. If that matchup, that is the matchup to look for. If Diggs can stay with AJ Brown, I think the Cowboys have a better chance of winning that game. Cooper Rush last year had that game where he was forced to throw, like if you remember against the Vikings, he had to go out and win that game. So Cooper Rush can play, can throw the ball if you want him to. It's just I haven't seen it this year. So hopefully, if they do stack the box and force Cooper Rush to play, hopefully Cooper Rush could come out of that game with at least because at the end of the day, one-on-one matchups with CeeDee Lamb, you're gonna get those matchups most of the time. Like, CeeDee Lamb is a great receiver. Gallup is a 50-50 guy, so you're gonna find Gallup getting open, or at least if you throw it up to him, he can go up there and get that ball for you. Just let's see if the Eagles crowd could influence that, because at the end of the day, that Eagles it's going to be away at Philadelphia, and that Eagles fan base is crazy. I mean, you should know. They boo their own team, so
Boo Santa Claus.
you boo Santa Claus, exactly.
But,
So like, if you're good enough to not let that get to you as Cooper Rush, I think you're going to have a pretty good game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying that's what we need to look for.
100%. It's going to be a fun matchup. Not going to lie.
It'll be fun. They're both almost undefeated. They're two of the top 5 teams in the league right now, I think, in my opinion. And and the winner is going to have a tremendous impact on the rest of the season. I mean, this isn't just a division game. This is going to play. It's going to be a domino effect.
Let's, I guess, end this. What do you predict for that game?
I'm gonna ride with my Eagles. Of course, I'm gonna go 17-10 Philadelphia.
See, I don't think if it's a low-scoring game, I don't think the Eagles are going to win. So I'm gonna go with 20-14 Cowboys if it's a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't have to be low scoring.
no, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a high-scoring game. I just don't. If it is a high-scoring game, then the Eagles are going to blow out the Cowboys, because I don't think Cooper Rush is capable of matching Jalen Hurts.
I think your defense is way too good for it to be a high-scoring game.
I think so too. But also the Eagles' defense is pretty efficient. Let's just say.
No, I mean, you're going up. There's two good defenses in this game, so high-scoring, I don't think so. It's going to be low-scoring. And just who's going to make the key plays.
Yeah. That is it for today.
All right. And we'll catch you next week here on Reek Sheikh.
Hopefully next